humans are habitual creatures. What we do once, we'll do 1,000 times. So if 1,000 times you're blaming somebody else for something that you could have resolved, it's almost net positive if you just take responsibility for everything, even if you can't control it, because the ones that you could control will be dominated, if that makes sense. So you're not wrong, because everybody answers the same way. It's not really your fault, but the whole thing you want to think about for you person, whoever's watching this video, overcome every single obstacle you possibly can. Like if you can take responsibility for it, you should. And that includes like people in your family, that includes your wife, your husband, that includes your kids, that even includes your parents in some situations. If your parents are struggling financially and you're under the age of 18, you must take responsibility for that, because if you do, it's going to develop these habits that will dictate the rest of your life. So this principle, when I developed it, like no matter what happens, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, I even take it down to a point where, if one of my video editors or somebody that works for me, if they don't get what's done the right way, I take 100% responsibility for all of it. And it made me a better person. So yeah, for you guys watching that, I mean, I guess that's the first subject, because I hear a lot of people, talking about, the pandemic and how the government screwed you over, or, my job let me go, whatever the situation is. I know people struggle with money, but I'll tell you this much: if you just took responsibility for it and start weeping about it, you might actually be able to solve the problem, if that makes sense. And if you got laid off from your job in the first place, you should have developed the entrepreneurship tendencies to, cover your butt from that. People, for some reason, I mean, you could probably attribute to this, maybe you have some friends, but for some reason, people live paycheck to paycheck and they have no other skills. It doesn't make sense to me. So if you're living paycheck to paycheck, you can't afford rent the next month, and you have no other skills to monetize except for what you're doing at your job, which some of the skills are like, you can't even bring it to any other job, right? So they have no skills. They're living paycheck to paycheck, but then they make, complaints and excuses when the economy goes to, zero, or whatever the case is, or if, the recession comes. That you got to look at your life and really anticipate all the problems. And I think, I don't know, maybe it stems from like the truth, right? Because people hate facing the truth. I don't know what it stems from, but personally, when I started taking responsibility for everything in my life, that's when things changed. The game changed for real for me. All right, so there's another subject I kind of wanted to touch on, because I don't know, man, it might not pertain to you, but I'm experiencing it right now. So like I'm hiring a lot of new people, and they're dropping like flies, right? And I think the reason for it is because I guess my environment is a little bit too savage. So it's just the truth. Like I tell people straight up in the interviews, like if you're not a person that wants to grow, this is not the job for you, because everybody that works for me, they're all killers. They're all entrepreneurs. They're all like very serious about what they do. So this is like, I guess, my way of convincing the people watching this video with the Barber Talk and stuff like that. Look, if something scares you or you're uncomfortable in a situation, it's probably the way to go, right? Because, all right, think about it this way, right? So it's 2015. I'm broke as a joke. I'm looking for a job. I've made like a couple businesses. And I start looking for like a mentor, right? Because I keep hearing everybody say, mentor, whatever the case is. So I'm looking for a mentor or whatever. And I would have killed for a position as like a video editor or like a marketer for a small business, just to learn my way up, right? And actually like start my own business. And right now I'm dealing with this with some people. Like I'm hiring people, and then they're losing motivation because I guess the environment's a little bit too much for them, or whatever the case is. But the way I look at it is like, if you're uncomfortable, it's probably a good thing, right? If you're in a comfortable place, the only thing guaranteed in life is change, right? So like, it's called the law of thermodynamics. So this is literally in science, right? The only thing guaranteed in life is change. So even if you look at it on a global level, even like, in space, we're constantly expanding. The whole entire, like since the big boom, depending on what you believe in, you can't deny the fact that we're moving very fast, at light of speed, spinning, the earth is spinning, right? At the same time, the galaxy and the universe is expanding, right? At the same time, we're revolving around the sun. At the same time, water is constantly deteriorating, rocks and soil in the world, right? People are messing up the environment and fixing it at the same time. But the whole thing I'm trying to get across here is that everything changes, guaranteed. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. So the best way to do things, in my opinion, is to go towards change, right? Go towards discomfort and pain. If you go towards discomfort and pain and adapt to it, that's probably the number one thing I could ever tell anyone to do. Like entrepreneurship, business, if I were to boil it down to one concept, it's adaptability and ability to overcome struggle. That's literally the only thing it is.